moving on. What are your? We didn't really talk about it. What are your thoughts and reaction to Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, that fight? What's your takeaway from that?
Exactly what I expected, not what I was hoping for. Right? So let me say this, because I was hoping for something different, but I expected it because of all the things I've read leading up to it. They said from the beginning there wasn't going to be a winner. It was supposed to be treated as if it was intense sparring. So I don't think we got the full capacity of. Roy Jones Jr. looked awful to me.
Horrible.
Just awful to me.
Horrible.
But Mike looked like 54-year-old Mike Tyson. Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, but I think if it was real, if it would have been an actual match or they were going for knockouts, I think Mike could have put him away, dude. I really do. All
right. So do you think Mike Tyson was holding back?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
You hope.
Absolutely.
You hope he was holding back, right?
No, I know he was. I know he was, dude.
So I'm paying attention. I'm just looking for something.
Well, I don't know, actually. I don't know, obviously, but I do. I strongly believe that he was.
That's the best case scenarios he was holding back. You know what?
No, I seen those fierce training videos, dude, where he was fierce. You didn't see that fierceness in him, did you? I didn't.
You know what?
I bet he did smoke weed so he wouldn't go kill the guy.
Yeah. You know what kind of fucked it up for me is not only his appearance on JRE, but then the week leading up to the fight, Joe Rogan talking about it more with this. I don't know who this guy is, but it's from episode 1570, Willie D and Mike Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you watch the clip, the name of the clip is Joe Rogan hypes Tyson versus Roy Jones. The narrative he was giving, and obviously he had no involvement in anything. The Mike Tyson he portrayed leading into that fight was not the Mike Tyson we got that night. And nothing seals that more than that post-fight interview with him standing there and, yeah, man, we do this again. We have fun. Like, that Mike Tyson is not the Mike Tyson I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see Iron Mike Tyson out there ready to.
And I think we could have. I really do truly believe he smoked weed.
Do you think?
I really do.
Do you think Mike Tyson needs to have a reason to fight? He had no reason to fight Roy Jones Jr. As far as I know, there's no bad blood between the two, right? It's all
humanitarian stuff he's saying.
And they fought. I think they donated money and they made money off of it, right? Do you think, especially a 54-year-old Mike Tyson, does he need to want to kill a motherfucker to go out there to give us Iron Mike Tyson? Because
no.
You don't think? Do you think he can fight a friend or fight someone like? Because I don't know. What I took from that was they were there for a spectacle.
That's what it was.
But I didn't think that way until after the fight. I thought coming up to it, I was like, Mike's gonna go out there and fucking kill Roy Jones Jr. Like that's what we're gonna see.
Because of the media I heard. If I didn't hear all the stuff about it, then I would have thought that as well. But I knew leading up it was just a heavy sparring exhibition, no knockout, no winner.
But if you watch Joe Rogan, he's saying that Mike Tyson doesn't exist. And this is a guy who sat across the table from him for hours.
Rogan didn't get the same Mike Tyson. That's why I truly believe Mike wasn't smoking.
You really think it comes down to that? I'm asking you personally. I'm not saying I know or
that it comes down to the weed.
You really think it came down to that?
Him not smoking weed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that because he says it.
Right.
That's what when he promotes his weed. Now again, he's promoting marijuana, but he says it that I'm just a happier Mike because I smoke weed and all day. And when he was on the Joe Rogan, the happy time. Right. This last time, dude, when he looked at him and said, "I'm not smoking weed" and all this stuff, he was there was aggression when he would talk, and he wasn't the same Mike Tyson
Where was
that was
on Saturday night.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, he was all happy-go-lucky. He was like the Mike Tyson that was promoting weed.
Was he selling
Remember
a fight?
Was he selling a fight when he was on JRE?
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine. But it wasn't like, here's the thing. He was selling a fight, but the natural aggression, again, the natural aggression, if you've watched that, unless you were expecting it, unless I was expecting it as
I sure was.
But maybe I was
Regardless of what once they started saying all the shit involving the fight, I was like, Mike Tyson's he don't give a fuck about rules. He bit a dude's ear off. When does he give a fuck about rules?
No, I thought the same thing, but when you watched, and he went into this as a businessman.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah, it's different. When I watched, it was different when you watched him on JRE. Just not even about what he was talking about. Their conversations, the way he kind of got offensive with things. I don't know.
I hope we didn't get duped. That's all I'm saying. I hope we didn't get duped.
What do you mean by?
I hope all this, I'm back, I'm the aggression, I hope that wasn't just to get you there. Because once you got there, it was fucking cuddle time and cupcakes.
But he also said, how do you know what's true? But he also, when Ariel Helwani interviewed him, he told him, so there's not going to be a winner, there's not going to be a knockout. He goes, hey man, I'm just finding this all out right now from you. Mm-hmm. I didn't listen to any of this. I trained. It wasn't my job to. So if he's lying, he's lying. If he's not, he's not.
Right.
So he could have, whenever he was hyping it up, which he's selling a fight.
Yeah.
He could have been serious. Maybe he didn't know what he was going to do, and then. I think that all changed. I think when Roy Jones Jr. came out and said this was a mistake 2 weeks before or whatever it was, a couple weeks before, I think that's when they said, all right, no winner, no knockouts, nothing like that. I really do think that, but I don't know.
The Mike Tyson before the fight and the young Mike Tyson, do you see him conforming to any of that, though?
What, the Mike Tyson before the fight?
The young Mike Tyson, is he going to conform to that?
No, he won't.
No. That's what worries me, because the Mike Tyson that was portrayed by him, by Joe, by the marketing, was young Mike Tyson's back. Then night of the fight, it was just a business venture. Is all I'm saying. That's why I hope we didn't get duped. I hope, should he come back, if you're gonna portray him and bill him as Mike Tyson's back, then I need fucking Mike Tyson's back. I don't need business venture Mike Tyson. That's not entertaining to me. So regardless of what the rules are and the red tape, I need the Mike Tyson that says, okay, I'll agree to your rules, and then goes out there and bites a motherfucker's ear off because he's Mike Tyson. That's what I need.
Everybody's going to watch it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop. Mike Tyson doesn't start putting on that Mike Tyson show until the numbers dip.
Right.
Dude, they broke pay-per-view records.
Did they really? I didn't
yeah, dude, they broke pay-per-view records. I think this fight sold more than his original, and it should in the time of pay-per-view, and everybody's accessible to it and everything like that. And it was only $50.
Yeah, bars are closed.
Yeah, so it sold records, broke records. I mean, so the thing is like he's going to consider it a win. He didn't have to go out there and knock somebody out. So I mean, if he wants to try to make something of this and he does another fight and he doesn't knock somebody out, then that's probably all you're going to get, Mike Tyson. You heard what he said. Yeah. I want to try to make it go the distance. A real fighter makes it go the distance. So who knows?
Yeah. So my biggest takeaway, I just hope we didn't get duped. I hope that wasn't just to sell the fight.
It was.
And Mike Tyson.
It was.
I hope it's not that he doesn't have the gas. I hope it's that he held himself back. Because if that's full tilt Mike Tyson, do you really want to see that again? I don't.
I mean, he's 54 years old, but no, I don't either. I think just go home, buddy.
Yeah.
But guess what? I don't need to when I can watch Derek Lewis. When I can watch the black motherfucking beast, right. Francis Ngannou. I can watch John Jones at heavyweight.
Right. One thing we did talk about is he has a real opportunity here to make some entertaining shit happen. Regardless of what do you want to call it? Like a boxing purist doesn't want to see a YouTube fighter fight a 5'9" basketball player, right?
No.
A boxing purist wouldn't want to see that happen.
But we do.
Just like hardcore UFC fans got pissed at who's the WWE, not Brock Lesnar.
CM Punk.
People, hardcore UFC MMA people got mad about that, right? Me, as a fan of violence and chaos, I do want to see motherfuckers getting dropped. That's what I want to see, regardless of where they come from. If you're going to sign that dotted line in there as a 5'9" basketball player and get dropped by a YouTube star, that's on you. So if Mike Tyson can get Justin Bieber in there to get knocked the fuck out, I will buy that pay-per-view.
All right, don't go into what you said.
If he can get Rudy Giuliani to go in there and get knocked out, I will buy that pay-per-view.
Don't go into what you said just quite yet, because it is good. But I want to tell you what his plan is, and then you could tell us what you think it should be.
Okay.
His plan, and I watched this, dude. It was hilarious, dude. Listen, he's like, listen. He just puts his fingers like he's like, listen. He's like, hey, listen. In my league, you know, if you want to get a younger tennis player to play against an older tennis player, in my league, there is no rules. Mm-hmm. In my league, there is no rules. If you want to bust your tennis racket off, you can bust your tennis racket off. It's no rules. He said this in his press conference, right?
This is the
so he wants to get old. Yeah, he wants legends only. He wants to have older guys come back to compete to still feel like they can compete.
Sure.
Now, Lux, tell us what you think it should be.
It should be fucking Celebrity Deathmatch is what it should be.
Celebrity Deathmatch. That's exactly what he should put on.
Robert Downey Jr. is going to go in there and fight Chris Hemsworth. Like
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Like, people that have beef. Like, we need Odell and Josh Norman. They can fight on the football field. They can fight. Do you remember? You might remember this. This is probably 8-10 years back. Do you remember Houston Texans, their wide receiver Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan duking? Yes. We need Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan. Like, this is the shit we need. We need to find dudes that have beef that want to go in there. If it's MMA or if it's boxing, you guys decide the rules. But they're actually going to go in there and duke it out. Like, this is the shit. Like, this is entertaining.
Yeah, Celebrity Deathmatch.
I gotta say, I'm not a boxing purist at all. I'm anti-boxing, really. That was an entertaining night of boxing. Just
see how small that ring was.
It was just entertaining.
Anybody for a puncher's chance.
Those little Mexican dudes that started the night off. It was entertaining. Like, it just was. It might not have been good boxing from the sense of boxing, but find me good boxing. Find me. There's just none.
There's excellent boxing. Shut the fuck up.
There might be good boxers. Lomachenko is a good boxer. His last fight, was that a good fight? Was there any? You even said there was nothing entertaining about that. What was entertaining about it?
He turned up later, but you're right. No, I won't take that from you. I won't take it from you.
This sport is one thing. These promoters have this sport so fucking backwards and twisted.
Yeah,
They have it so
ruined.
ruined.
And the thing is, they have the sport ruined because of all the belts and shit.
They even tried.
Mike says there should be more, but
they even tried to ruin that night with the WBC. Oh, it says it's a draw. Fuck you. That was a draw. That was a draw.
Right.
That was a draw. Come on. Roy Jones Jr. threw punches with his head turned sideways like this. This was his. Tell me this was a draw. It was Universe WBC.
Remember he would go like this and try to.
To fake him out with no footwork, all head movement. Listen, so you know how fighters have to get what's it called? They have to get sanctioned, right?
Yeah.
How's the WBC going to keep their sanction after ever calling that fight a draw? How?
Right.
Well, how do we hold them against what they like? How do we hold them against that? Like, that's not a fucking draw. Exhibition,
that's not a draw.
Whatever you want to call it. Title fight, exhibition, prelim.
Think of it this
I
way,
don't care. That's not you got to have some credibility, right? To call yourself the WBC.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.
Don't you ever talk about me!
The Killing Time Podcast with Lux and Cody.